You all know this already, or don't know it. But I wrote something this afternoon about belief, because I had somebody say to me, well, it's okay for you, you believe in non-duality. And it's really very obvious. I don't believe in non-duality. This isn't a belief. This is regardless of beliefs, inclusive of all beliefs. Couldn't give a shit about beliefs. Beliefs are just ideas that I am attached to, that I have the sense, self has the sense that they are part of me, part of who I am, is what I believe to be true, what I believe to be real. What I believe to be right. And beliefs don't go anywhere. If you fuck off, beliefs don't go. Beliefs are just empty. You could say, if you ask me a question on a subject about that beliefs are involved in, then I probably would give the same answers that I've always given. The difference is that they don't mean anything. They don't hold any sway. They don't have any purchase. They don't have any value. Now, of course, to me, beliefs are most precious. And at the core of all beliefs is the belief in myself. I believe that I am real. It seems a circular, self-fulfilling pattern of thinking. Self substantiates itself, and belief plays a big part in that. One of the most liberating aspects, you could say, of speaking about this is that it's really obvious that beliefs are just beliefs. They're stories of what is right and wrong, what is true and false, what is real and unreal. And it can just be overwhelmingly obvious, undeniably obvious, that that's what beliefs are. And then there is a not caring about beliefs. When it's obvious that each human being's beliefs aren't really theirs, and that each human being has no say in what it believes, what you believe is not yours, it's hugely liberating. That doesn't mean to say that somebody says something that you naturally find stupid, that you don't say it's stupid. But it doesn't matter. And incredibly, it doesn't matter. It can feel like love. No human being is choosing their beliefs. No human being is choosing to be as they are. And beliefs are part of being as the human being is. So generally, human beings don't see others' beliefs, other human beings' beliefs, as innocent. They just don't, because you could choose to believe other. You couldn't. You may have tried. And if you've seen non-duality as a belief, you may have tried to choose not to believe in duality. I'm guessing you've not had much success with that. But the reason I say this is not a belief is there is no necessity at all to lose a belief in duality. Because we're not speaking about belief at all, in any way. But you may not believe that. A lot of people I speak to, they don't believe that. But that's fine too. There simply is no one to choose what they believe or not. How wonderfully innocent. But of course, self doesn't want every human being to be innocent in that sense. There's no one to blame. And with no one to blame, of course, self can feel very, very insecure, because there's no reason why that happened. It's got to be somebody's fault. Otherwise, you're left with no explanation. That's what we're speaking of. When you've heard speak of not knowing, unknowing, it is that there are no answers, no solutions. This does not require any answers or any solutions. That's all for me or us. Well, welcome everybody. If you want to ask any questions or you want to share anything, then just put your hand up or write a question in the chat if you want to. It doesn't have to be a question. If there's something, you know, some aspect of non-duality or something you've had spoken of, you'd like me to speak about that. It doesn't have to be a specific question.
Hi, Tim.
Hi. Hi, Anita.
Hi. I'm a little bit doubting. It's more a sharing,
Oh, that's good.
and it's about people who are saying that they are speaking about this, but in reality, they are kind of teachers, and I can still be so angry at them.
Do you get pissed off with them?
Yes.
Yeah, I can understand that. You know, that's all innocent as well. You know, I can remember I used to get pissed off with them, and for whatever reason now I don't. I mean, I could try and give a reason. I think the reason I don't is because I now see that how could they do other than they do, you know. It doesn't mean to say I like it. I won't listen to it. I don't like it. But, you know, you can go looking for what's going to piss you off just to be pissed off.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say if you get angry about it, don't listen to it. But there you go. If you're attracted to listen to it, you know.
No, I'm not listening to it, but there was a woman, she invited me to be her friend, and then I looked on her page, and then I saw the combination between spirituality and non-duality, and then I immediately think, no.
What do you do? I mean, you can, I mean, I don't know what, it's hard to say why you're angry about it, probably. But I mean, there is nothing wrong with doing that. I mean, that's what most people, it seems most human beings, particularly when they've been on a spiritual journey, on a spiritual path for what seems like a lifetime, then if you come across this message, then it's very common for human beings to try and merge the two in some way. You know, I don't want to lose everything, so I'll keep some of my spirituality because it's so precious to me, and I'll feel so bereft if I lose the fucking lot. What the hell would I be then? So it makes perfect sense why a lot of human beings do that. And if I'm telling my story, then I think I was the reason that I don't do that, and I have no sense of spirituality in this message at all. The reason for that is I was never a spiritual seeker in that sense. I was a psychological seeker. So you know, for me, again, it's all innocent. So she couldn't help but do that. That's how she saw it. Yeah. That's how she sees it. Now, there is a myth going around in radical non-duality circles that all non-duality speakers are speaking about the same thing. No, we're not speaking about a thing. There is, or there is another, perhaps another myth that we're speaking about the same no thing. Yeah, even more ridiculous. We're speaking about the same nothing. No. I would say the only common thread that I would say, yeah, this is where all the speakers that I could listen to and go, oh yeah, that resonates, that feels. Really, all we're always saying when it resonates is, oh yeah, that feels pretty similar to how it does here. Really, I mean, let's be honest. And the thing that really resonates is not knowing. Not knowing, as opposed to knowing. And all spirituality is about knowing. Spirituality very rarely touches on not knowing. What would be the point? Well, there isn't one. That's the whole point. The whole point is that there isn't a point to not knowing. And of course, there's no benefit. What will I get out of not knowing? Well, you won't get anything out of it. Self only gets something out of knowing. But I think a lot of spiritual non-duality, it just feels like halfway house to me. You know, I want my cake and eat it. I want to keep my spirituality. But there is something about the non-dual. Because of course, the majority of non-duality is saying that there is something. There is consciousness. There is awareness. There is just knowing. There is oneself. There is oneness. There is. That's not what's being spoken about. Yeah, there is, but what there is, fuck knows. And I just find that all of that is just pretense of knowing. And what seems to have happened here is that knowing, knowledge is just the same, but is very obviously empty. It just means nothing. It is utterly valueless, other than the relative value that it has in relation to some. I'm not talking about practical knowledge. You know, I usually use the analogy of I've picked my car up from the garage today and it's been serviced. I do not have the knowledge to service my car effectively. So I bow to the greater knowledge of the car mechanic. So I'm not talking about that kind of knowledge. I'm talking about knowledge of life, knowledge of this, knowledge of what's happening, knowledge of all there is. That's simply unknowable. That's the difference between what's trying to be pointed at here compared with the majority of non-duality, which says you can know. Of course, no wonder that's massively more popular, because all self ever wants is more knowledge, more understanding. That's all that is manna from heaven for me. That's what feeds me. That endless search. And what we're speaking of is that there is no one, there really is no seeking. It seems like it, but it really isn't. There's no one seeking, and there is no seeking. There's fuck all to seek. If this is it, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? There will never be more or less of this. There will be more or less of feelings and thoughts and money and relationships. They're stories. This, I mean, however you want, whichever words resonate for you. This being, this aliveness, this happening.
John has his hand up.
Thanks, Anita.
Thanks, Tim.
You see, you only have to say something and I'm away with the fairies. Waffling away. Thanks, Anita.
Hi, Tim. Hi, Darren.
Hello, John. Nice to see you.
Yeah, I haven't seen you for a while. You're looking good.
Thanks.
Based on what you were saying in your introduction, Tim,
Yeah.
when you said that we're not talking about beliefs.
No.
I mean, I completely get that in the sense that to sort of evaluate beliefs, whether they're true and false, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But I mean, but there is one belief that we are talking about or alluding to all the time, and that is the belief that there is a self.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aren't we?
Yeah. I agree, yeah.
Great. Okay.
So the thing about, if the belief in me dies, it doesn't, it's weird. I mean, this is odd, because you can say that belief in myself is the core belief. Yeah, you could say that is the belief on which all other beliefs attach to that, you know. They, using Tony's analogy, said self is a sticky bun, and you know, anything that self likes sticks to that, you know, and it'll take whatever it can take, self will. But in the absence of it, there really is no noticeable absence. There's nothing is lost. But there's no more beliefs do lose all their allure, you could say. You know how alluring beliefs are for self. They really are. But they lose all their attraction. And really what I was trying to get at in the introduction was that this is often misinterpreted as just another belief.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas there's no sense that it is a belief, although I'm very aware that for many human beings it is.
Yeah.
Because of course, self will make a belief out of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what's trying to be pointed at is regardless of belief, you know, and it's inclusive of all beliefs.
Yeah, so it's a little bit like the comment that you posted in Facebook about not having, and I've heard you say this before, about not having some sort of magic ability to look into people and see whether the condition of their self or their non-self or whatever.
No, I mean the thing. I mean, I did it as a seeker. I just thought, well, Tony can see right through me, can't he?
Yeah.
With his magic non-dual eyes. You know, and well, how many, I mean, there's so, stories are rife that devotees to gurus are utterly convinced that the guru can see their self and can see their lack of self, can see right through their self. Oh, I mean, have you ever heard such nonsense? But you know, and that's what I mean by belief. I mean,
but so what?
So somebody asked me, how is it now? You must be able to. They just presumed. I'm guessing they hoped, really. If I'm speaking about this, I must have some magic powers. I can see those who still have a self as opposed to those who are empty of self. What nonsense. What do I see? I see exactly what you see. You see human beings, I see human beings. Now, what you then say you can see, you're making all that shit up. That's all. That's all I'm ever trying to allude to, is that what you see is what you see, and everyone sees other human beings. But then, then what self does usually is tell lots of stories about. And I mean, how much does self love the idea of special abilities? I mean, that's rife in spirituality, that some human beings, I mean, traditionally, that's what enlightenment meant. You've got some superhuman, supernatural powers, really. And one of those powers would be able to identify those human beings still suffering under the delusion of self and those who are liberated. Bullshit. There are no human beings with a self or without a self. There is no self. So there is no self. It's that simple. I know it sounds ridiculous, especially if you've been pursuing this notion of no self, but you haven't really been listening. If you've still got that and you're stuck with it, you just haven't heard it yet. Of course, you can only hear what you can hear. So again, that's all innocent, but you haven't heard that there is no self.
Yeah. And of course, when the realization that there is no self is made about oneself, one's parent self, then of course, I mean, that applies across the board to everyone.
Absolutely.
And that's the great liberation there.
And that's the great leveler. Yeah.
Yeah, the great leveler, exactly.
Yeah, unbelievably so, that all human beings are in a relatively, of course, you can measure on whatever measurement you want to use, and you can put human beings in a hierarchy, but absolutely without selves, every human being is absolutely equal. And that's love. That really, I would say, if anything feels like love, that does.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks.
Oh, thanks, John.
Rita has a hand up. Hi, Rita.
Hello, Rita. I haven't seen you for a while.
Oh, you're muted.
Good, sorry. Yes. So, Tim, I had a question for you, and I've been thinking about this for a while now.
Okay.
Since sort of this realization in theory alone, nothing physical has happened. People talk about this, heart-wrenching sort of experience that they go through when this change occurs. For me, it's more on theory only. And then there was a point where things sort of sank in and emotions sort of left me. And in the last 3 years, I see gradually, I don't feel extreme anger, no love, literally, all these emotions which were there earlier, they're all sort of diminished in a way. They do come once in a way. Fear does come, it pops, but it's more gentle, mellow. Now, my question really is, there is no love anymore. Not even for my parents, for some reason. That there is a fondness of a kind, there is a caring of a kind.
Yeah.
But the love, how I defined it before, that has completely vanished.
No,
And
I get why, because love is such a difficult thing to even speak about. Because when you use the word love, I have no idea if how I'm using love was even speaking about the same thing. We have this presumption that when we use a word, especially a word like love, which is so, it means so many things. And I think it means something different to each human being. But right. I do know what you mean, because love is different.
So that sort of has gone, but there is something which is there and it keeps popping up, which is when I listen to someone talk of their pain, abject stranger, for some reason, tears start coming and my heart tightens.
Right.
I don't know the person. Like, if I see a homeless person, and I don't know where this comes from. So I wanted to know, is this bodily? What is this,
Yeah, well, I to start with, I definitely call that love.
But I don't know this person.
No,
I'm never likely going to meet the person.
You can't get more unconditional love than crying for a stranger. That's really unconditional, isn't it?
So my question is this body thing, which I know there is no body, but is there something there?
Oh no,
Same.
I never say there's no body. Of course there's a body.
I mean, I'm going on the quantum physics thing that at a very micro level, we are
I'm no
maybe
quantum physicist. Of course there's a body.
there's no solidity, and there's nothing solid and all of that. Yeah, I'm trying to connect why this is happening so that
Well, the thing is, I mean, I'm not your man for an answer to why, Rita, because I don't know the answers to those questions at all. How it seems to be here is I'm really not interested. All interest in answering those kind of questions seems to have evaporated. I used to ask those questions all the time, and one of the reasons I may say this is liberation is because there's no interest in why at all. And some people are quite shocked that I'm genuine. I don't think there is an answer. I mean, I could give you an answer, but I'd just be making it up. And anyone else who gave you an answer would be making it up. There aren't any answers to those questions. I don't think there's any answers to any why questions. Well, there are relative answers, but then, and they may satisfy to an extent, but we all know this. When someone gives you a reason why life is as it is, somebody next to them will question that straight away and give you an alternative reason. You know this. Everyone knows this. The why of life, it really is a waste of time. It really is. It's just empty. It's just someone's, and of course, the cleverer, the more complex mind of a clever human being can come up with a really convincing why answer. And then that's why science is so interesting. Somebody comes with an answer why, and then another scientist just spends the next 10 years trying to work out why that's wrong and to prove that it's wrong. So the reason I'm saying this is that I really don't think there's any I could say, if you could, which you can't, you could decide not to ask any more why questions because they're fruitless. There's no juice in why. It's dry, it's dead. Because really why is sort of all the why and how answers to life, they're kind of just dead in it, they're killers really. And self wants it because it will feel more secure. There's this sense of I'll be better off if I know why. No, I don't agree. I couldn't disagree more. There's no benefit for a human being in knowing why. Apart from feeling really smug and self-important, which, nobody likes those traits in a human being anyway. So
Thank you, Tim.
I haven't got an answer.
That's perfect.
but I really don't think an answer is required.
It's only because all of these emotions are gradually just dying out, everything is exiting kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then suddenly this, pops up and I'm like, where is this coming from and why? And it's natural in a way to...
Yeah. But you're no more in control of that emotional reaction to the stranger and your tears than you are the question popping up asking why. You will not find. I mean, if someone gives you an answer and you like the sound of it, that may be, that may make you feel more comfortable for a while, but there aren't any answers to those questions. Because really you're asking, where does life come from? It doesn't come from anywhere. And if it does come from somewhere, there's certainly no knowing where.
Sure. Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, Darren.
Thank you. yeah, again, that's why this isn't a teaching, because it's not, doesn't supply any answers. I mean, if you think about education, what do you learn at school or university? You learn answers to questions. That's why that's not what this is. This is no answer. You could say the question and the answer are one and the same.
Kelsey has a hand up. Go ahead, Kelsey.
Hi, Kelsey.
Hey, can you hear me? My voice is like a whisper.
That is good.
Yeah, okay, cool. It's my first time here. This is great.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I love that not answering the why, because in self-inquiry, the most liberating feeling, I guess, if I'm to like identify as the self, is just like asking the question why, but not answering it. Just letting the answers come and not determining them true or false. And then through that, it seems that emptiness appears because there's nothing there. I mean, how can we determine what is true or false, or what is this from that? It's just an appearance, just an assumption, a projection, if you want to call it that. Like it's just
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a question.
Oh, thank you.
Kelly, go ahead.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Kelly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Can you talk some about meaning and being?
Sorry, say again.
Can you talk a little bit about meaning and being?
Being and being.
Yeah.
The old Tony phrase. So. Flip-flopping, I think I heard him used to say that as well.
Can that just go on forever?
Well, no, but it might seem like it. No, there is no forever, so it wouldn't go on forever, that's for sure. But yeah, it seemed a lot of people tell a story of, oh yeah, there's total freedom and feeling oneness and liberated, and then me comes back with a greater vengeance, and I feel totally burdened by myself again. And then just going from one to the other, from one day to the next, or a few days of each, and then back to feeling like me. Freedom, and then imprisonment, freedom, imprisonment. What could I say about it? I really haven't got, again, I've got no idea. I've got no solution to that. It's, if that's, because of course there isn't any meing or being. Meing and being is, so I remember last week, I mean, it's no different from what Me's always said, which is, last week I felt great. Last week it was fucking, I was on top of the world. Everything was going just smooth and sweet, and relationship was good. My boss even said well done, and that he really thought I was a valuable employee. My daughter bought me a present. You know what I mean? And then this week, just all kinds of shit, and I felt dreadful. It's all gone wrong. I feel a total failure. I feel, well, for me, the whole meing and being thing is just more of the, it's just typical me. Now, there is only being, there is no meing. There is no meing. There is feeling like meing. There's no meing. It's just being. And being me is a fucking topsy-turvy game, isn't it, being me? Sometimes I'm winning. Mostly I feel like I'm just about hanging on. And sometimes I feel a total loser. Now, I don't know, that's maybe not what you mean by meing and being, but I think because there is no me, naturally all human beings have time, or there are, in the story of their life, there have been times where they've felt very light. There's, if not the absence of me, then much less of me. I'm much less demanding. I'm not shouting and making a fucking lot of fuss. So life is easy. And then other times I'm kicking and screaming and saying, this isn't how it should be. But there is, I mean, the story can be anyhow. But remember, the meing and being is just a story. There is only being with the illusion of being.
I could ask it another way.
So if you were to tell me now whether you're meing or being, depending on, you know, you've really got to, I mean, if I say to you now, are you meing or being, just using that and that phrase, you would have to do some looking, because you won't know, you don't know whether you're meing or being. You just have to make it up, basically.
Yeah, wouldn't there have to be a me to answer that?
Say again?
Like, wouldn't there have to be a meaning to answer that?
No, I could answer it if you just ask. No, but anyone can answer that. But what I'm saying is, if you say at the moment I'm meing, or there's meing here, and then you could say, you know, if you're feeling really good, you could say, oh, there's just being. There is no meing and being. There's a story of meing and being.
Yeah, right. I know.
So if you feel good and light and life is sweet and you have a sense of oneness, or you have a sense of emptiness, and then you'll probably say there's just being. And then if you're feeling really burdened by anxiety or fear, or then you're likely to say it's meing. You don't hear me say the phrase because that, for me, there's nothing helpful in it at all. And it's just telling another story for me.
Yeah. I see.
So I understand why people speak about it, but I mean, it really is it's nonsense. There's no me to be meing. There's just being. And the just being can make up a story of, oh, last week I was me and now I'm not. Or there isn't a me that was last week and isn't today. And there isn't a me today that wasn't last week. And that's the story of me and a being. Just, I mean, how is it? It's not helpful in any way, is it?
Not really.
Because it's really is feeding the story that me is coming and going. There's no me to come and go.
So I think that sometimes there's emotional hangovers. I don't know what other to call that.
A hangover.
Emotional hangover, not.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it has a relationship with meaning and being, I think.
Right. So, yeah, it could be, yeah. Do you mean if there's an emotional hangover from the periods of me being really intense and full on?
Well, I was thinking it's more being, and then the emotional hangover might be a me trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, the figuring out. Remember, the figuring out isn't me.
It's not me?
No, it's just trying to figure out. There's no me trying to figure anything out. It's just fear. It's fear. So really, let's be honest about what me is. Me is fear. I am afraid of being nothing. I am afraid of emptiness. I'm afraid that there is nothing else but this. It is fucking terrifying for the energy that says, or the sense of continuity that we call ourselves. Because there's no way I can't live. I have to have existed last week. That's why meing and being is an attractive story to me. Well, at least I had a period of just being, but now I'm back just being. But then again, next week I could be being again.
Sounds true.
Yeah, the trouble with the meaning and being thing is that it's a story of hope, really. Because if I had been being, just being, then I could be again. No. There is just being.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But yeah, I get what you mean about emotional hangover. It could well be that self is afraid of that, or that the energy that we call me, the sense of continuity, feels really threatened by freedom, total. There's nowhere, yeah, and so then I try and work things out. There's nothing to work out.
That sounds point on.
Thanks, Kevin.
Hadar has a hand up. Is that how you say it? Is that how you say your name, Hadar?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. It's more like a sharing.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been listening to your talks and of course other speakers. I got the bag. And it was nice listening to your talks because it's like you bring all this big illusion down to earth. Like you think something will happen, and there is another state and everything.
Yeah.
So it was kind of relaxing, really, to hear that there is nothing really special going on.
No.
So, and it's part of the seeking that you think there is like something to get.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was very confusing in the beginning because
Right.
when you see Jim Newman and other speakers that they are not there, so you think like, you know, how you get there, how you get to this,
Mm-hmm.
and also the separation, like there is like me, I'm the one that suffers,
Mm-hmm.
and there is the open that doesn't have the suffering. So there is also this sense of separation. Like
Yeah.
you think that there is me and there is something else.
Yeah.
And with the time, with listening more and more, I just figured out that it's the same thing. Like it's the same material. Like it's the me and the openness, it's the same thing. So there's not really like a distinction between them.
No,
And
not really.
yeah, but it was nice to discover it.
Oh,
It was
that's
nice
good.
to yeah, it was nice to see that actually there's no, it's the same material, that just me is concentrate on himself, and then if you're not concentrate on yourself, on your problem, there's just like there's nothing really special going on.
No, well, that self is, that's really what self is always trying, is seeking, really, specialness. And the specialness can be, you know, it's very individual for each human being, how the specialness is seen, is imagined.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of specialness is what is really what self is always seeking.
And there is a lot, the stories, it's exciting in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Of being,
Oh yeah.
You've been miserable or being
Yeah.
in pain.
And
or,
yeah, and I often speak of this as disappointment. There is disappointment in this, you know, self, this is the ultimate disappointment in self.
yeah, because when you discover there's no juice in the story, there's nothing there.
Well, when you've always dreamt of being special,
Yeah,
this kills that. Because simply because there is no one to be special.
yeah, and there is excitement about being special. There is something.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
yeah. That's why I'm saying
yeah.
that this is not what you want. This is not what self ever would want at all.
You
know,
give
so,
up a big bag. It's like you really give away,
yeah.
you know, a very exciting bag of stories and everything. So, but discovering that everything is the same thing, like it's made from the same material, the same creation. I don't know how to call it. So it's nice. This is free.
Well, I mean, I would never say it's the same material, because I don't see nothing as a material. You know,
I'm saying it's just
you could
it
say,
seems
you
like
could say you could say it's made of the same immaterial if you want.
Yeah.
I'll let you say that. I can't let you on my Zoom say
if it's
made
like
of
a
the same
picture,
material.
if it's a picture with colors, like, you know, it's not, there's no separation. If it's like
It's made of the same non-stuff. There we go. If we call it that as a material.
Yeah.
The immaterial material.
Yes, yeah. But there's no separation. This is nice. That it's the same thing. Like I'm not different from what's happening out there. So
well, I mean, yeah, you're not. Yeah, human beings are not different from the rocks and the trees. They're not. You know.
And even from other human beings, because I think the most scary is the other human beings. Like you think there is other situation, other human beings, or the other stories. So when
this this might kill this kills all possibility of ever becoming special like the ones you've admired, though. You know the human beings you've made special, whether they're gurus or pop stars or footballers. You know, they're all very, very ordinary human beings who just happen to have a talent for kicking a ball or speaking about nothing. Or can't remember what the other one was now. But yeah, it is very, everything is very equal.
Yeah.
Everyone.
But it's up and with your, like, it's not up and outside. You just realize it, that it's okay. That everything is the same, and there is nothing to look for, and nothing to look for. So
No.
yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Ada.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks, Darren, for your help.
You're welcome.
Pleasure as always. Well, thanks for turning up. You know, I'll probably just do this without anyone turning up, but it is nice when people turn up. And if you'd like to be on the mailing list and you're not, or I do realize there are some people who have been on the mailing list and for whatever obscure reason they've fallen off it. I don't know how the internet works. I don't know how emails work, but that does seem to happen. You are on the list and then you're not on the list. I don't know. Anyway, if you want, if you'd like to be emailed an invitation to the Zooms, then just drop me an email at clistim@gmail.com. I'm hoping to have a meeting in London shortly. I'm still waiting to book a venue. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, in a month's time. So that's 4 weeks tomorrow. If you're interested, again, just look on the website, Tim Cliss this, and all the details are on there if you're interested. Thanks very much for coming. Lovely to see you all.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tim. It was
Lovely to see
brilliant.
you all.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
Tim. Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.